皆さん、こんにちは。お元気ですか? Hi guys, I'm Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, はじめまして。Lisa です。I teach Japanese at my channel in the most easiest and a fun way. If you love Japan, its culture, or if you want to learn the Japanese language, or if you love anime and manga, you're at the right place. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Okay, now without any more blah blah, let's start with the lesson. So, what are we going to talk about? Today, I'm going to put my focus on the different ways to say I or me in Japanese. As you guys must be knowing, there are several ways to say I or me. That means to refer to yourself in Japanese. To name few, I say ore, boku, watashi. So what is the difference between these words and when do we use it? So which one is the ideal word that I should pick for myself, right? That is a question that waves in everyone's mind. Okay, so first of all, do not get scared by those dangerous kanjis that you see here. You definitely don't have to memorize these kanji as they do not lie under the commonly used one. They are just very rare one. So if you're using any of these words, you can write in hiragana. There's no need of kanji mostly, except watashi. Okay, so let's get started. 始めましょう. So if you are an anime lover or if you like reading manga, you might be able to relate this thing. You must have seen while watching subtitled anime that they use a variety of terms like ore, boku, washi, watashi to refer to themselves. So I'll say that when you look at Doraemon, the character Nobita uses boku for himself, right? While in other cases, you might find that he uses ore for himself. So some use ore, some use boku, some use washi, while some use watashi to refer to themselves. But here comes the surprise. When you look at the translation, you see all of these words are always translated to I. That is just so irritating for a non-Japanese because you have no idea of what these different words mean, and to your surprise, they are just translated to I. So that is just insane, right? So if you watch anime, you might be able to know this. So what is the difference between these years, and if there are other ways to say I or me in Japanese except watashi? This is what we are going to cover in today's lesson. Before that, just a little request, subscribe because that means a lot to me and that motivates me just a lot to make another video for you guys. I am really having a bad schedule these days due to my college time. It has just changed, so I get very less time to prepare lessons for you guys, and I'm sorry for that, but I'll try to spare some time for this. So if you guys support me, I think we can rock. Okay, so what are we going to learn today? In this lesson, until now, you must be thinking that watashi was the only way to refer to yourself in Japanese. Well, you are not so wrong because watashi was one of the most commonly used words everywhere in TV shows, in animes, in mangas, even in textbooks. But to your surprise, it seems that Japanese language offers various forms of personal pronoun. That means the pronouns you use for yourself. So to your surprise, you'll find several words to refer to yourself, but most of them are either left into the history, that means they have become extinct and they are no more used, or soon they will going to get extinct and today they are becoming rare to use. Only in the older Japan, which is the village area, you'll find people still using these words. In Tokyo, you'll find very less people using such words because they just use watashi to sound formal. Now, the word that you use to refer to yourself may depend upon your gender. It may also depend upon your social status. So there are criteria for which word you use for yourself. But the sad truth is that Japanese learning textbooks, all of the textbooks, only show usage of watashi. That's probably because watashi is the most formal as well as the perfect way to refer to yourself, and I do not object it at all. But we must also let you know that there are other ways to refer to yourself. So that is why somewhere textbooks lack something which only a practical knowledge can teach you. So textbooks also do not show you how to change from first pronoun from to another one in different situations in daily life, right? Like if you are with your friends, it's okay to use boku. But if you're with somebody formal, you wouldn't use boku to sound rude, right? You'd rather go for watashi, right? So now starts the main part. Here we go. We'll be covering one by one each word and some characteristic for that word so that you can become familiar with that word. The first one is watashi. I have given it in hiragana, and you can also look at its kanji, one of the most famous kanjis that you might have seen. Now, one of the first lessons you learn when you are learning Japanese is to use this term, watashi, when you're referring to yourself in the position of the first person. Isn't that true? And of course, I agree, this is the most frequently used word to say I or me, and you'll be hearing it almost everywhere. Now, that is a different concept that we kind of omit this watashi because pronouns are less common to hear as it can be understood from the context, right? Every time I do not say watashi wa Lisa desu, watashi wa Lisa desu, because of course this watashi wa is understood, and I just say Lisa desu or Lisa to moshimasu, and you understand my name, right? So this watashi wa is omitted from the grammatical point of view, but of course this is the most perfect way to refer to yourself, and also while writing, watashi wa is the most beautiful way. Actually, this is really formal way to express yourself, and I think it suits any situation. Now you might be wondering that watashi is a super humble way to refer to yourself, right? So if we use it in casual situation, doesn't it sound weird? I mean, when you use a formal word with your friends, it sounds weird, right? Well, that's true, but to some extent, watashi is an exception here. Nowadays, in modern Japan, people use watashi even between friends, and it is becoming more common. So, watashi can be used in formal occasion as well as between your friends these days, mostly your co-workers. But kids obviously do not know all these, so they might be using boku and all. But today, watashi is becoming super common even between friends and of course at formal occasions as well. So if you by mistakenly use watashi between your friend circle, it really doesn't make a difference. Okay? Now, most probably, watashi is used to speak to someone who is superior than you. Of course, when I'm talking to my friends, I'll try to be a little casual with them, right? And when I talk with my teacher, I'll try to show some respect. And that is why I use watashi while referring to my teacher, my boss, and someone who is my senior. Now, this word is genderless and it is ageless. Ageless? What? I mean, does this term exist, ageless? No. It's irrespective of your gender and your age. That means it is applicable to everyone, no matter who you are and no matter which age group do you belong from. So right from kids to any person who has crossed 100 years of age. Anybody can use watashi. So that's why it makes it one of the best overall terms to use to describe yourself. Right? So, to summarize, watashi is the most appropriate way to refer to yourself. Now, talking about watakushi. Watakushi. Doesn't it sound similar to watashi? Of course, the only difference is of the school that has come between ta and shi. Can you guess it now? It's similar to watashi, but there's a very slight difference here. I want to give you a note about this. This kanji is usually pronounced as watashi, right? But the official reading for this kanji is actually watakushi. Did you guys know it? I think you did. So all this time that you were pronouncing this kanji as watashi, You were probably wrong because this is pronounced as watakushi, actually in textbooks. I'm talking officially. But as I said, it is most commonly pronounced watashi, so obviously it's okay. You didn't do a crime, basically. So just remember, the official reading for this kanji is not watashi, but watakushi. And that is why this kanji actually belongs to watakushi. Okay? So let us understand a little more about this word watakushi and what it means. So just like I made you familiar with watashi, it's time for watakushi. As I said, there's only a difference of ku here. Now this makes this word more polite than watashi. Now you might be like what, sensei? So this is another good example that politeness is everything about Japanese language. So if you want to learn this language, you have to learn the politeness first. Watashi itself is just so polite, but there's an even more polite word for it, watakushi. So now you can just choose between your politeness, like to whom are you talking and how polite do you have to be. So modesty is in the veins of Japanese people. Watakushi is not so common to hear in daily conversations. It is often used when during a speech, like if a president of a company is giving some speech, he might use watakushi rather than watashi. Even if he uses watashi, it doesn't make difference, but watakushi is more appropriate for a speech and all. So I would say again, it's a great overall term in formal situations, right? Watashi is always acceptable, but in utmost formal situation, watakushi can be a great option for you guys. But if you feel that watashi is not so formal for you, you can choose watakushi. Just like watashi, this watakushi is also genderless. It doesn't matter if you are a male or a female and if you are using this word. The only thing that matters is if you're using it in a polite situation or not. So if you're using it in utmost formal occasions, there's nothing wrong. But if you mistake to use it between friends, now you can be a baka. Okay, now your friends might consider you a little fool because watakushi is not obviously so good word to use between your friends, right? Now, it is such an ideal and a polite term to use when you are at your work, especially in your business and all, but you have to deal with. Speaking of our word number 3, ATASHI. ATASHI. Now, this is the word number 3 and it again sounds similar to watashi, right? So, this is not same as watashi. We saw watakushi. Of course, it was similar to watashi. But ATASHI is not similar to watashi. Why? Because this is primarily used by women. ATASHI sounds a bit girly and like a cute kind of word, and so it is used by women. But girls have stopped using these nowadays. I mean, I've not heard girls speaking these ATASHI nowadays because it sounds really girly and they don't want to sound so female, okay? Now, again, the kanji for atashi is the same as watashi, and so I did not write the kanji here again, okay? So you notice that the kanji for watashi, watakushi, and atashi is the same. Now, when you are writing this kanji, you might not be knowing if the writer wants to write watashi or atashi, but I can just say that whenever the writer wants to write atashi, he does not use the kanji. Though the kanji for atashi is the kanji for watashi. Am I making sense? Okay, let me start from the beginning. The kanji for atashi is the same as watashi. But when the writer is writing, the reader cannot make the difference whether the writer wants to mean watashi or atashi. But there's good news. Luckily, atashi is written in hiragana, just like this, atashi. And so, this kanji is always used for watashi only. So to conclude, that kanji is only for watashi and you don't have to worry. I was just doing a blah blah blah. Okay, atashi is generally written in hiragana, and though the kanji belongs to this word, it is not used by it. Men generally don't use this term because it seems like a feminine pronoun, but there is no such a rule that you cannot use. It's not like it's an offensive crime. You cannot use this word. No, it's not like that. Of course, men can use it, but they avoid it because females have started using it a lot in the previous eras, so it became a feminine pronoun. But nowadays, girls have also stopped using it. So, adashi is also a word which is so less common these days, and it might not come into use in the future, right? Talking about the word number 4, ore, ore. Now this word has a kanji. The first three words when we saw watashi, atashi, and watakushi have the same kanji. But of course, the kanji is applicable for watashi only, as the other two words do not use it a lot, and when you want to write watakushi or atashi, you write them in hiragana rather than using the kanji, right? In case of ore, this is the kanji, and of course it is a little well-known kanji nowadays. Ore is more likely to be heard in animes and mangas, but of course, this word does exist in reality. It is a most popular term that is used by men. Actually, ore sounds dominative. Like the person who uses this as if he's the boss, or he's the king, or he's a samurai, or he's the ruler of this world. Okay, that became too much. I'm sorry. What I mean is ore sounds really dominating. So if you are using ore, you are just trying to be a little bossy. So you have to be careful who, from where are you using the word? Like who is around you when you use this word? Because if you use this ore between your boss or your teacher, then it may pretend out, like it may turn out as if you're trying to be bossy, as if you're trying to just show off in front of your teacher. And show off in front of your teacher can sound so rude, right? So that is why many men choose to use ore only between their close friends or in their family. Now, like, I'll give you an example. My father can use ore when he is with his school friends and he's having a party. Okay. Now, so when you use in front of your boss, you are likely to lose your job, minasan, right? This is considered so rude to use ore in front of anybody who's superior to you, because ore is a very casual word. Now, if you watch animes like Bleach or Naruto, there are characters who use ore with assertiveness to show as if they're the bravest, right? So if you use ore in your speech, just be cautious of who you're using the term around. Like, if you use it in front of anybody who is higher than you, it sounds boastful and is it as if you're trying to pretend to be higher than that person. So indirectly, you are just pissing that person off and you are just pissing his patience. So those Japanese people are very polite. They will not consider you saying ore. They would really not like you saying ore in front of them, right? So you have to be careful. Just use this in front of your close friends and not even far friends. Like only close friends can be the perfect person to use ore with, right? The word number 5, boku. Boku. Boku can be written in hiragana if you want, but there is a kanji already existing for this word, which you can see right in your screen. So you can use this kanji if you want. Now you can notice that boku is a super common word. This is used mostly by kids and younger men, like around 20s. So teens generally use boku, and it is a more casual alternative than ore. So boku is an even more casual and even more friendly word than ore, which can be used only between casual friends. A younger man may use boku to refer to himself when speaking to his older friends to show that he is younger than them. So again, I'll give the example of Nobita, who uses boku for himself. Any young man is most common to use boku in casual settings. Now this gives you the air of a youth. So boku is generally for kids, teens, or younger people, and that is why older people use ore and not boku. Okay? Ore is a much better option when you are a little into 40s, and boku is more common when you are in your 20s. Okay. Even Light Yagami from Death Note uses this pronoun boku to refer to himself. I gave the example of Nobita, and now Light Yagami. Boku wa shinsekai no kami to naru. I will be the god of the new world. So he uses boku wa, which means boku, which is used by teens and kids, and of course he's a teen, right? He's just in high school, and look at the dark goal he has. Anyways, if you watch Death Note, you might be knowing this word boku very well. And that is why I said boku is super common to be used when it is used in common settings. Okay, now teenage girls might also use boku. To their friends, rarely. I have seen that somebody questioned me this in my comment box. I have seen few girls using boku. Why do they use boku? Because boku is used for males, right? Girls rarely use boku, but if they are using boku, it is because they want to be more masculine. They want to pretend to be bossy, like a tomboy, mostly like that. So if girls use boku, it is just to appear more masculine. Now, in certain songs, if you love hearing to Japanese songs, you might notice that women use boku. Why is this the case? I'm telling you the practical examples of boku so that you do not have any doubt. So you don't have to be confused. This is just a trick. Actually, such songs are written from the male perspective, but they are performed by women. Do you get me my point? The lyrics are written from a male perspective. The song is just sung by women, and that is why she uses boku. Okay? So, I hope you got it why boku is so masculine and why girls use boku in certain rare cases. Otherwise, atashi is or watashi is more perfect for girls. The word number 6 is ATAKUSHI. 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 So we saw ATASHI, right? Now just add ku and become ATAKUSHI. In the previous case, we saw watashi. And the more formal version of watashi was watakushi. Just like that, ATASHI can become ATAKUSHI as a more formal and polite way. You might be going insane. Like there are so many levels of politeness, right? Watashi becomes watakushi and atashi becomes atakushi just to increase your politeness. And are you getting why am I using these women pictures around me? Because this is again used by females. Watashi was genderless. Watakushi was also genderless. Atashi was feminine and atakushi is again feminine. Okay, so just from the pronunciation you can guess how these words are used. Now this word, just like watakushi, is not common to hear during casual setting. Of course, it is very formal, so outside of anime and manga you might not hear this word in casual settings, and that is why boku and watashi or to the farthest atashi can be used in daily lives. Moving on to the phrase number 7, the word number 7, washi, washi, composed of only 2 hiragana, and you can see the kanji right next to you. Washi is the last word that I am going to discuss here to refer to yourself. Now, do you know that there are areas in Japan? In one of the area, like each area has some of the kind of dialects. In the Kansai area, they have their own Kansai dialect, right? In the Kansai area, mostly for elder men, washi is being used. Washi is formally a word in Japanese textbooks, but it is more in Kansai area for elder men. So if you watch any animation or in a game or in a manga, in an anime, old man character always uses or mostly uses washi for himself, right? So whenever you want to assure or you want to emphasize the fact that you are a senior citizen, you are going to use washi. Of course, if you are a teen and if you're watching this video, washi doesn't matter to you, right? But gaining knowledge is never waste. This pronoun is nowadays becoming very rare on usage and very rare, like it's declining nowadays. And maybe in the near future generations, this word will be gone just like the other words. Language is, of course, to evolve and progress. New words will come and older words will go according to the need. Okay, so that's the rule. Okay, so that was all for this lesson. If you enjoy my content and if you appreciate my work, I would really request you to subscribe to my channel because that really means a lot to me, minasan, and that motivates me so much to upload new videos. You can share this channel with your friends who are also trying to learn Japanese. I want you guys to comment and let me know if you enjoyed this video and if you got to learn something from this. And of course, do not forget to like the video. Okay, I'll see you in the next lesson. Till then, keep learning and stay safe. Mata ne!